I'm not sure if you folks can see that or not, but we're at 53.9 hours. Kind of overdue on my 50-hour service. But I have been freaking busy. Been a busy couple days. Yesterday I did a stump grinding job where I did 23 stumps, anywhere from 6 inches up to over 2 foot, I suppose. And been selling some firewood lately as well. And as you can see, I don't have the loader on the tractor right now. I took that off a little bit ago in preparation to do the 50-hour. All right, so we'll get the brush guard out of the way. It's a lot easier to do this stuff without the loader on there. We'll pop the hood. We'll be able to access things. So the first thing I'm going to do is change the oil. Here's the oil filter, and the oil pan is right down here. And I'm pretty sure there's 2 plugs because the drive shaft, front drive shaft goes right in between, or right through the pan. It's like a saddle in there. You'll see it when I get down there. All right, I'm giving you guys the best seat in the house. Oh, thought it was anyway. You can see both these plugs here, and then the shaft goes in between. So, this is a 17 millimeter. 17 millimeter socket is what a person needs. I think I'll wait till that one's done, and then we'll do the other one. Okay, so here is our manual for the DK5320 tractor. If we go to the section about servicing, the maintenance schedule chart, okay, initial 50, it shows transmission oil filter, hydrostatic oil filter, replace both of those. Check the transmission fuel level, front axle oil level, check. Air cleaner element, which I do that every 10 hours, so. Clutch play, don't have one. Brake pedal, check that. Radiator grill cleaning, I do that every 10 hours. Coolant level, I check that every day. All right, then you come over here, nothing else for 50 hour. 50 hour there, nothing. Okay, so it doesn't say anything about changing the transmission oil filter. It just says, well, it says the oil filter, but not the fluid. See? And then the engine oil, it shows that you don't do that until 100 hours. But I went on the Kioti forum and I talked to guys there. I called my dealer service department and I talked to him, and he said that if I was going to bring this in for a 50-hour service, he would change all the hydrostatic, all the hydraulic fluid, the engine oil, and filters for all of them. And I had already bought all of those, so that's what I'm going to do. But in the manual, it doesn't show engine oil and filter until 100 hours. Just so everyone knows. I'm not going by what this says. I'm going to change it at 50 hours here along with the filter. And I'm going to change all the hydraulic fluid. Okay? So next we will take off this. I'll put the plugs back in the bottom and I will change the filter just right here. Now, if you're going to be changing oil on a tractor, changing filters, I highly suggest a filter like this. I heard so many horror stories before I got my subcompact, or when I got my subcompact and was looking to change oil on that the first time, about how hard these things are to get off. And I bought one of these filter wrenches and it is the bee's knees. It's almost like big pliers, and they have teeth here to grip onto the filter and get it off fairly easily. Yeah, you might crush it a little bit or whatever when you're squeezing on it, but it comes off. So it's the main thing. I moved the oil pan up underneath here to capture the oil when it drips off. So there we go. Got our oil filter off. Time to put on a new one. All right, so you always want to check your face here. Make sure that there isn't, you know, your O-ring still sitting on there. Kind of give it a little wipe off. I applied fresh oil to the front of this, or the O-ring of it. Now we just need to thread this back on there. I will get a fresh, clean towel to help me grip that. Fresh, clean towel. And I'm just going to hand tighten this. I'm not putting that wrench on there, okay? There we go. Then I have this paint stick, and I'll put 11, 23, and then 52 hours. So in the manual, it also tells you what types of lubricants to use. So for the engine oil, it says we will need basically 2 gallons of engine oil, and it needs to be SAE 10W30 or 10W40 or 15W40. Since it gets cold here, I'm going to use the 10W30. And it has to be API CJ grade or above. And this is the stuff that my dealer gave me, and it's the API CK-4. So this is what I'm going to use. This is what they would put in it if I took it there. This is what I'm going to use. I know a lot of guys have certain brands or whatever, and that's fine. I'm doing what the dealer tells me to use or gives me to use, just because if I have an issue, I'll have record of buying all this stuff from them. So, all right, I got this nice long funnel that'll aid me in putting the oil in here so I can get away from all the wires and all that. And I'm just gonna, this is 1 gallon, so we'll fill her up. One at a time, of course. This isn't a frat party. So I'll get these 2 put in there. Okay, so I haven't quite put all of the second gallon in there, and I'm a little bit over the mark, but I haven't run this yet, and it hasn't settled yet, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to put my oil cap back on off camera because it's probably going to be a pain in the butt with this wire in the way. Come on, Coyote, get with it. I was right, it was a pain in the butt. However, got it done. Now we'll start it up, let it run a little bit. Circulate all that stuff around in there. Okay, I let it circulate for, I don't know, 30 seconds or something. We will double check the oil level now. Make sure I don't have to top it off any. And we're right at the top notch. So you have to be in between those two notches. We're right at the top of the notch. So we should be good to go on engine oil. Next will be some hydraulic fluid. So I was just looking at capacities here in the transmission fluid. There's 11.4 gallons in there. I don't have that much transmission fluid. I don't have that much hydrostatic or hydraulic fluid. So I can either just change the filters and try to catch that filter really fast and then just top off, because in here, oh, here it is, transmission fluid, replace 400 hours. So we might just do the filters and hopefully we got enough to top it off. Okay, so this is the right rear tire, and this is where the bigger filter lives. I think this is the hydrostatic filter, pretty sure. And then over here, that is where the filter for the transmission is, I think. It's a smaller one. You got a big one and a small one. And then this is where the plugs are for those two. But I'm not going to change those yet. I'm just going to do the filters and then top it off. I know one of these, when you pull the filter off, it just pours out. So you got to be kind of quick about it. So I'm not going to do this on camera. That way I can have my wits about me. Have the filter there ready to go back on. But I just wanted to show everybody where it's at. Big filter here, and the smaller hydraulic filter is there. I'm pretty sure this is the one that pours. It sits a lot lower, so I'm pretty sure this is the one you gotta be quick on. So I'll do this off camera and then I'll come back. Okay, there's been a little bit of a change in plans here. My trusty filter wrench isn't big enough for that size of a filter. It's a pretty good size filter. So I had to run up to a local parts store and buy one of these filter wrenches. Hopefully this will work. And I'm going to also try something that I've heard helps with keeping so much fluid from coming out. Okay, there's two things that you could possibly do. One, apparently that oil cap fits here where you fill up your hydraulic fluid. Supposedly they're the same size. Well, there's a vent in here which will allow the fluid to flow easily. Right? That's what this big rubber hook on top is. It's a vent. But there's another option, and that is to stick a vacuum into this hole while you pull that off. So I'm going to try that and let you guys know if that works or not. Get all this crap out of the way. I'll vacuum that out in a bit. Well, as you can tell by all the spilled hydraulic fluid, that did not work. Maybe you have to stick it in there tight. I don't know. I put it in there pretty much right over top of the hole. But maybe I wasn't down on it hard enough, but it's gonna be some sawdust thrown on the driveway here, and pick this up after I'm done. Okay, if your dealer, if you have a DK5320 and your dealer sends this filter home with you to replace your hydrostatic filter, tell them it's wrong. This hole's way too big. The filter is longer, it's narrower, but main thing is this won't fit on there. The hole's monstrous compared to the other one. Alright, time to hook back up to the loader. Pull up in front of it, hook up these lines again. These are for the third function. They can hang out the side for now. I'm going to bring this down some. And what I'm doing is I'm tipping the toe forward. Now I'm gonna like lift the loader, which is bringing this back. And it looks like my lines are lined up. So hopefully I can get these put back in there. Just like that. Or are they like this? I think they're the other way. Then there, you got this pin that goes on the other side. And then the other pin. That one isn't lined up. So, of course, it's one on the side where I'm not. So, I'll bring this back some more. Almost there. That's pretty good, I think. Oh. There we go. It's funny how each side lines up differently, but I guess I'll have that. Then I could just lift it up, lift up the loader. And this is about as high as I needed to be to pull these down earlier. They lock in there. Do it on the other side, and we're locked back in. All right. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. There were some hiccups in this 50-hour service. And, you know, you'll have that. It happens, right? Nothing's ever perfect. And if it is, you probably have a really nice shop with really good lighting and everything, and I don't have that. The filter thing, you know, it is what it is. I called my dealer, and he's looking into it. He says sometimes those Kioti filter numbers are they just have the wrong one for whatever reason. Kind of annoying, because now I had to put that hydrostatic filter back on, the one that was on here, the one that's been on here since factory. And when I go and change that, whenever I get the proper one, I'm probably going to have to put hydraulic fluid back in here again. It made a big freaking mess. You know, I've thrown down a bunch of sawdust, soaked it up, and then get that picked up and thrown away. But it's windy as all get out, like it always is here pretty much. This morning it was beautiful, but you know, afternoon winds. But the main thing is I got the oil and oil filter changed. I got the hydraulic filter changed, and I changed quite a bit of the hydraulic fluid. I had a partial and a 2-gallon of hydraulic fluid, and it took that much to get it topped back up where it's on the stick. I'm gonna have to get some more for when I change this, but I'm planning to do $200 on the fluid change. So my parts department at my dealer just called and said he found the right filter, but they don't have it, and Kioti's got a back order. So great. So, you know, I don't know if there's some other brand that could filter that could go on here, possibly a Wix or whatever, but I really don't have a number to give them anyway. You can't see a number on the unit because it's been painted, so there is no number on there. And what I show for a filter in the book is the same one that he gave me, and it's not the right one. So there's obviously been some mix up in the manuals, and also what the dealers are getting for information on the proper filter for these. So that's unfortunate. So I'm going to have to keep going with the same hydrostatic filter that's been on it since factory. I was going to do the front end gear oil too, but I don't think I'm going to do that on camera. I've had enough fun for one day, and I think you got the idea. Basically, for the front end gear oil, there's a drain on both sides on the bottom here. Underneath somewhere, oh there it is, that little orange fella. Open that, drain the gear oil out. Over here on this side, there's one there, same thing. Drain out the gear oil and you fill it up right here and top it off. It's going to take about 1.5 gallons. What's in there is hydraulic fluid. That's the way it comes from the factory. They put hydraulic fluid in there, and you can use that as your front end gear oil. However, I did it on my subcompact, and I'm going to do on this one also. It shows that you can put SAE 90 weight in there, gear oil, and that's what I'm planning to put in my front end. I hear that helps prevent seal leaks on the front end by having that little heavier gear oil in there. So that's what I'm going to do. So hopefully this video was informative, entertaining, or you just feel sad for me. One of those things. But we'll keep plugging along here. Like I said, I've been super busy lately. Been selling some good firewood, been doing some stump grinding. All those things are great, and they all bring income in for my business, which is why I have it, right? It's I get to play with my tractor and do things I enjoy doing and get paid money for it. So until next time, be safe, brothers and sisters.